Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to this afternoon's webinar with Ash Rosshandler from GoodCompany. This is Volunteering Victoria's fourth Tech for Good, and I think we're up to 10 or 11 or 12 even over the next 8 to 10 weeks. So Ash has been CEO of GoodCompany for the last 8.5 years, and prior to that, for about the last 13 years with its parent or subsidiary. How do you call it, Ash? Karma Currency, what is it?
Yeah, that is our non-profit foundation side.
Yeah. So today we're going to hear a little bit more about the new GoodCompany platform that's only weeks away, and how it's been able to support companies both through the volunteering and fundraising and corporate volunteering and general goodness.
Wonderful.
So I'll pass over to you, shall I?
Thanks, Scott. That's great. And how can we see who's actually on this Zoom call?
There's participants. If you click on that, you'll see we've got a few. Bish, Emma, Kirsten, Manish, Rory, and Victor at the moment.
Wonderful. Hi, guys.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Ash. It's Hayley. I'm here too.
Hi, Hayley.
Hello.
Everyone, that is our Charity Relationship Manager, Hayley Gallery.
Hello, everybody.
And so, Scott, what's the format? Do we wait for questions at the end, or people can just jump in? Or?
Well, because it's pretty low key with only 7 of us, 7 participants and us. If people want to jump in, go for it by any means. Use the chat function or the Q&A. Rory says, g'day. You know, Rory, top guy from RACV. So either or. It's really however you like to go, and I'll just kind of interject where I can as well.
Okay, fantastic. And I can possibly share my screen. I can. Good. Should I do that?
Go for it.
I will do that. So happy Tuesday, everybody. As Scott said, my name's Ash Rosshandler. I'm the CEO of GoodCompany. And yeah, I hope we have a nice time over the next sort of 30, 40 minutes. And please feel free to jump in, ask questions, and we'll have a bit of a debate and see what we can come to here. I reckon what I've done is start my slides right at the end. So everyone just close your eyes, or you're going to forget the surprise. Okay, so GoodCompany, this is our new promise, if you like, which is giving solutions. So this is what we focus on at GoodCompany, is to try and find different philanthropic and giving solutions for key customers, which are charities, corporates, and our donors. So I'd like to start too, it's National Sorry Day. So I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we work and enjoy every day. National Sorry Day, I was talking about it with my kids. I've got a 7, 9, and 11-year-old last night. And we were talking about today is the 20th anniversary of Kevin Rudd's apology. And, you know, what has and hasn't really been done over the last 20 years. Personally, I think the $60 billion that we found miraculously as part of a COVID budget, I think it would be great if some of those funds went towards recompense for our First Nations people, but that is how I feel. And Scott, you're from New Zealand, and I love spending time in New Zealand. There's a very healthy, sound, respectful, incredible relationship with your First people there, and we've got a lot to learn.
Yeah, I'd like to agree with you, Ash, but sometimes I think the institutional racism is just as deep and ingrained, and we have a long way to go. So I recognise and commend these sorts of days, such as National Sorry Days. I think that's a step in the right direction. But thanks anyway for your recognition of what is being done, nonetheless. in New Zealand?
Great. So yes, what we do at GoodCompany, for those not aware, our mission is to make those that can give you those in need to bring out the best in everyone. So there are quite a few modules, volunteering being a really important one, but we also do payroll giving, donating, matched giving, charity gift vouchers, lots of different ways that companies can give their time, talent, and treasure. And it's a SaaS multi-tenant platform where there's branding, so the corporates can give their own messaging, policies, and framework, and the magic happens on those platforms. And speaking of corporates, these are the corporate partners that we are so incredibly fortunate to work with. And it's a happy accident that a lot of them are essential services. So they are incredibly busy given COVID and what's going on. But we'll get into some of the volunteering opportunities or not, and some of the giving opportunities and how that's shaping up maybe for the next year or two. So the 4 things I'd like to do today is talk about National Volunteering Week quickly, talk about GoodCompany Courses and what we're trying to achieve there. As Scott mentioned, a sneak peek at GoodCompany 2.0 and hopefully lots of questions. So happy National Volunteering Week to everyone for last week. We were faced with the challenge here of how do we help our companies. I think when it came to charities celebrating National Volunteering Week, I think, Volunteering Victoria and other bodies did a good job of their what would you call that campaign, Scott?
Wave your hand for volunteers. Wave for volunteers.
Wave for volunteers. So yeah, there wasn't much for us to do there except sort of encourage charities to get on board with that. But when we work with our corporates, we're like, okay, how can we celebrate National Volunteering Week, given a lot of volunteering has actually been put on hold, and also those companies are dealing with lots of different pressing priorities. So in terms of giving solutions, we reached out to our corporates and we're like, okay, it's National Volunteering Week. We understand there's a lot on. What's your key problem at the moment? And interestingly, they came back and said, well, one of our key problems is as we bring staff back to work, how do we make sure it's a safe workspace for them? So we put those 2 problems together and came up with this, which a lot of our corporates got on board with. And it was a campaign to ask their staff during National Volunteering Week to volunteer to download the COVID Safe app. So Optus, IAG, AGL, these other large corporates, they want to make their work environment as safe as possible. And one of the steps to help achieve that is through this app and the government endorsed app. And what was interesting is actually when I had a lot of conversations with some of the corporates, I'm big on sort of, privacy and security. And luckily the government didn't come out with this app and just say, no hacker on earth can ever get into this, like they did with was it the referendum or there was something that went on. Who can remember that? This is where there's audience participation. Someone can chime in.
No good having a Kiwi to talk to about that either. I'm outside of my depth here.
Okay. Who are the 13 listening? It was some government thing where they said this thing can't be hacked, and of course it got hacked. Health records, I think. Well done.
Yes.
Is it, yeah, there were health records hacked, but then yes. I think it was that. Anyway, the
Census.
census. Emma should, Hayley, if you're still there, or you're kind of tuned out by now?
Hello, I'm here. I don't know if you can hear me or if I need to chat, but I am tuned in and listening. I don't know what was hacked, so I can't help you.
But I think what we should do is, for the best questions and answers, we'll send them a charity gift voucher.
Oh, okay. Yep. Done.
What a great idea.
Good. Okay, lovely. So it was the census. Anyway, back to this. The government didn't say this is unhackable. But the interesting thing, when you're having that conversation about, well, could it be hacked and what data could they take and everything else, it kind of, the spirit of volunteering is, if someone goes out to plant trees, there is a chance that they could trip over on a log and twist their ankle. But the upside of volunteering and the joy of planting trees and giving back to nature and ticking SDGs about life above land, all that stuff, and the teamwork and everything else kind of outweighs, you know, the tiny % chance you're going to twist your ankle. So I think, in a way, volunteering to download the app, yes, if someone found data about where you were or whatever else, like, how bad is that versus the ultimate good, what we're trying to achieve by keeping our society healthy? So anyway, that was our little thing, and it was a bit of fun.
Ash, just on National Volunteer Week for corporates, what's your feeling more generally? Is it kind of well received, or is it got a bit of work to go? What's your thinking there?
I think a lot of corporates, it's a healthy reminder. It kind of, you know, stops something there. Go, oh, okay, National Volunteering Week, what are we doing in that space? How are we tracking versus last year? So I think there's only kind of a few times you can get them through the year, maybe when they're doing their annual reports, maybe when they're, and this is just giving them another opportunity to question where they're volunteering, how they're tracking. So I think it's important. I think companies struggle sometimes to celebrate it. But we also give them some videos that they can share around and some other things. But this year has been particularly hard with everyone working from home.
Yeah, come on, thanks.
So, Hayley, is Scott eligible to win a prize for that question or not?
I think so.
Okay, good. Rules. All right.
Better keep asking questions then. This could be good for my chosen charities.
Yes.
You haven't said how much the charity gift voucher is yet.
Oh yeah. Well.
We'll make it $10.
All right, great. Is Volunteering Victoria one of your charities?
Yes, you can redeem it back to Volunteering Victoria, or you should be able to. That's a good question.
There we go.
That will be the default charity if you don't spend the voucher. Okay, back to this. So how do we help? Okay. So the other challenge that we've got, the bigger challenge over the next sort of 6 months, is how do we help companies to volunteer when face-to-face and in-person volunteering stopped? So this is where we've come up with GoodCompany Courses. So what we found as a bit more background is, during the bushfires, there was a huge appetite to volunteer, and the community groups needing volunteers was limited, and also their appetite for volunteers, given health, safety, resources, everything else. There was quite a clear message saying, if you really want to help us, can you please donate? And Australians were hugely generous. And we had like $2.5 million come through the platform in about 6 weeks. It was bananas, how generous people were. So the supply demand curve was well out of whack. And then what happened at COVID too, there was again a lot of people looking to volunteer and give back. And then when we went to our charities saying, how would you like to engage with volunteers at the moment? They were like, you know, Ash, good company, you're kidding me. We don't know which way is up. We've been hit by a bit of a tsunami here. The last thing we want to do is invite volunteers into our organisation right at this minute. So we respect charities. We want to create, authentic, meaningful, impactful relationships. And if they say to us clearly, we're not looking for skilled volunteers right now, then we had to go, okay, how could we help those skilled volunteers to give their skills and then have charities draw off those skills when they like. So quite excitingly, we dreamt up this project about 2.5 weeks ago, and we have our very first course now on there. So if you go to goodcompany.thinkific.com, and we'll link it to the goodcompany.org site shortly, once we've got a few more courses up. And if there's a few minutes at the end, I'll actually just jump into the site and show you. We've had the first course is about donor centricity and understanding your donor, which is so important because, if you've got Bob, and Bob donates $2,000 to your cause every year doing the City to Surf Fun Run, and the City to Surf Fun Run's cancelled, then it's a really good time to understand whether Bob does it to keep fit or whether it's just a tool to support you, and he'd try and raise the $2,000 any other way, or and just actually understanding who your donors are, what their needs are, can they volunteer, time, talent, treasure, and unpacking that. So there's a great course on that. Next week there'll be a great course on OH&S for NGOs and COVID-19 and how far away everyone should sit from each other, and doors and cleaning and so. Another one on leadership and trust, which is coming up, which is really important when people are working from home. How do you trust that they're working efficiently, effectively? So that's an exciting project, and we'll hopefully jump into that if we've got some time. And now what we're going to do is have a quick few slides on GoodCompany, the new platform. So I guess the background for that is GoodCompany turns 20 years old this year, which is a huge milestone. This might be the biggest celebration we ever have with 13 participants online. So that would be exciting.
There's 2 more on Facebook.
2 more on Facebook.
Yep.
And according to this, 3 of them are called Bish. So that's good. So this could be the biggest celebration we have. Hopefully there might be a few others to come. But anyway, so 20 years old. So we're Australia's first skilled volunteer matching platform, started by Kate Kennedy when she was working at the Pratt Foundation. It grew into a volunteer platform. I was running Karma, a donating platform. We put the 2 together to give time, talent and treasure. And luckily, we won the Westpac Business of Tomorrow Award about 18 months ago, 2 years ago. And with that, we got a little bit of funding, which we then put into some new UI UX. And then from there, we actually looked at the whole platform and have rebuilt it from the ground up, which is pretty massive. So this is how the new interface is looking at the moment. Where do we start? Not sure. But search, we're now got Elasticsearch across the site. So making it easier to find the things that you're passionate about. We've still got the hours, the time, the dollars, the content management system, login via SSO and other things. But I think what's kind of exciting is these filters. So the new filters, a lot of corporates over the years have been saying, here are our key charity partners. How do we separate them from everyone else? So we've got a filter on that. Skills acquired is a whole new category. Looking at your skills of tomorrow and how you can complement them. SDGs. So we are now filtering and reporting against those. Dates, so you can select across a range of dates and find out which volunteer opportunities are on then. And cost. The cost is a big one. I think we're going to be the first platform on earth to have a volunteering cost filter.
What a great idea.
Yeah. I think the feedback from clients was, it's a bit tucked into the copy that there's going to be a charge. We'd like to know straight up where there is one. And I think too, the opportunity for charities is, corporates want to engage in this way. And if they can charge for it and have that as a new revenue stream that we can unlock, then that is awesome.
Well,
I'm interested, like there's guys like Rory. Do you want to chime in? Is that helpful, or could that promote the wrong behaviours from charities?
I've just put.
Thanks. Thanks, Ash. Thanks, Scott. In short, I think it's helpful. I think just to get some understanding of, is there a cost involved? Is there, or what the quantum is? I think it's a great indicator, and would be useful, I think, from both ends of the spectrum. We're having more and more conversations with AIOs who are moving to a fee-for-service model. Not all of them, but to have an understanding of upfront if there's a cost involved, I think that helps, and it helps with people that are searching as well.
Yeah. Cool. Anyone else want to sort of chime in? Or I'm not sure I know Rory's from a corporate. I'm not sure who's from charities, who's from some of our esteemed competitors. Anyone else want to chime in?
If so, just raise your hand and I'll allow you to talk here.
Oh, you've got control.
Oh, is that me? Oh, yep. Got all the control here. Got one on the chat. What about where charities pay travel costs, etc.? Asked Sylvia.
Where charities charge travel costs?
Yeah, let's interpret that way.
I'm not sure I understand. Sorry.
Pay to volunteers.
Let me see on the chat. Oh, okay. Yeah. What about where charities pay travel costs, etc., pay to volunteers and a travel allowance? Is that an idea? Is that an idea there? Or I'm confused, Sylvia. Talk to me.
I've put you on, Sylvia. You can go for it if you've got the functionality.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah. Hi, Sylvia.
Hi. No, look, I managed organisations where they do pay volunteers a travel allowance. So it's to support them to get to the volunteering place.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, so I was interested in the fact that you put fees relating to what volunteers have to pay, but there was no information about where organisations actually pay a travel allowance to volunteers, because that might be the difference between somebody being able to take on that role or not.
Yeah, well, I guess if the charity says, so it's fair share, and they say it's $50 a head to volunteer for the day there, because they get obviously sort of a wonderful experience, then if the company has a budget of $50 per staff, I guess that covers everything, right?
Yeah. No, sorry, I think I'm getting it confused. You're talking about corporates paying a charity if they want to allow their staff to volunteer.
Yes.
Yeah. So I assume that this search engine was also for volunteers looking for opportunities.
Yes, it is. It is. Right. And so if a volunteer came in, they also would get a clear indication of whether there is any sort of fees attached to volunteer for the day, and then they'll go from there.
Yeah, and that's where I'm saying you might want to add to your search engine that whoever is posting opportunities, whether there is any payments given to volunteers to participate.
Oh, sorry. Okay, I got you. Payments.
So yeah, not just the going out of money from volunteers, but also coming in of money if the charities are paying, like travel allowance, an example.
Okay. Payment to volunteers.
So can you hear me? This is Hayley. Oh, hi. Hi, Sylvia. Ash, so I've had an example of that where I've volunteered with Lamb Care. So I've applied and then they've accepted me and then they've offered me money to travel X amount of kilometres to pick up the lamb.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yep.
Yeah, so
I jump in and help. Yeah.
Awesome.
Sorry, go ahead, Sylvia. Yep.
Yeah, no, a few years ago, I managed the volunteers for Food Bank, and we paid travel allowance to volunteers to come in and work on a warehouse. We didn't pay any travel allowance to the corporates that came in, but we did pay to the general volunteers who came in and helped.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, so that's what I was saying. I was interested on the fact that you've put in a cost to volunteers, but there are opportunities where volunteers do get some very small amounts. They're only the ticket of the train, so it's public transport type allowance. But a lot of charities do that. So just something to think about.
I love it. We will definitely put that in the mix. Just as an aside, though, who has heard about? Maybe I've got a slide up about it after. It's called one something. But yeah, it's called. What it is over in the States is you can volunteer to get injected with the COVID virus. So it is for scientists who are looking at drugs to vaccines for it, which is pretty amazing. So I wonder if they'd get a travel allowance or something a little bit more generous. But that is volunteering, right, over the top. To actually volunteer to get that virus and to do some medical tests on yourself, that's pretty wild stuff. All right, so going ahead here on the platform, so we've got penguins. So if you're going to go pamper the penguins, then we've got different date ranges. You volunteer. There's benefits of volunteering. So under benefits of volunteering, we could add a little bit about, we'll also cover travel costs, which could be cool. And then after you've volunteered, you get calendar reminders and things like that, which is new in our platform. Then some of the other new enhancements are on your account. When you look at your volunteer history, you can see what's accepted, completed, if you've declined it or the charity have retracted the opportunity. But then in terms of feedback, we've really amped up our feedback. So now we've got a whole bunch of questions that corporates can put in about how their staff rated the opportunity. How does your participation in this volunteering program impact your desire to continue working at this company? How does it assist you in better understanding the company's commitment to charitable causes? So we can tailor a whole bunch of questions there. The skills that they've gained, they can tick that. So we can cross-reference whether the skills that charities have added are actually being fulfilled. And so that's a bit about kind of how we are changing and evolving volunteer platform. And then also, I guess what's really important for us is this, that 2/3 of volunteers donate, and when they do, they give 2 times as much. So this is really critical, I think, for everyone's success at the end of the day. So the new platform, a lot prettier and really gorgeous when it comes to encouraging people to fundraise, where they create a page, an event, or join a team. They can put in targets, timeframes, inspiration, they share the page. So all that stuff's looking really good. the targets, share functionality there once a page is up. That's all been enhanced. And look, this is kind of so hot off the press. So what are we now? We're 2:30 in the afternoon, and this is from like 1:30 in the afternoon. We've just been spending a lot of time with the checkout side of our site. So when you want to donate for a puppy, you can donate via, if you click for payroll, you're redeeming a charity gift voucher or paying via credit card. So it's all one neat little module.
The payroll looks interesting, Ash. It's always been a hard thing to manage, hasn't it? You know, how to get staff to use payroll giving. You may have cracked it, do you think?
Yeah, well, that's payroll giving is our is kind of core to GoodCompany, and what it does is you know, where it works best is when companies will match dollar for dollar from payroll. So that gets very exciting, and yes, payroll giving is something that we've been working on for. You know, we're Australia's first, under Karma Currency, Australia's first payroll giving platform. So with Origin Energy, they've been with us now for, I think, wow, 11 years maybe, and doing payroll giving and matching donations there. Yes, so that's very exciting. And the ability to make it recurring and all the rest of it. So, gosh, that went fast.
Very exciting. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
It looks really slick. So you've got a few more weeks to go before you iron out the kinks.
Yes. We're looking at July 1. So there's a few more things to do on the platform, but yeah, it's a long time coming.
Yeah, and so that's primarily focused at your corporates by the looks, well, the windows that you showed us there, or
yeah. So what we need to do is onboard or move across the corporates. We've picked up some new clients, which is wonderful. So they'll be launching then also. And yeah, across Australia and New Zealand. So we've got to, grow the good over there too.
Yeah, indeed. There's a lot to be shared there. Any questions for Ash at this stage?
By the way, no one can see. I actually put on my GoodCompany shirt today.
Oh, look at that.
But then, anyway.
Very smart, very smart. You'll need to have a merchandise section.
Oh, gosh, no.
Yeah. So tell us more about your GoodCompany University then.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we could have a quick look at that actually. I could share my screen and do that. That's cool. How do I get out of this though? How do I? Okay, there we go. Yeah, so GoodCompany Courses. We're going to call it GoodCompany University, and then legally there's a whole rigmarole around calling anything a university. So coming back to the idea is, due to COVID, many charities face a double whammy of increased need and decreased support. Meanwhile, skilled corporate volunteer programs have been put on hold or delayed indefinitely. So the solution is to create dozens of courses for charities, and the outcome is the SME, which is the subject matter expert, get to share their expertise and get their helpers high, and charities can jump on and enjoy it. So in terms of getting involved, anyone on this call, if they're a skilled volunteer and would like to apply, to help put together a course, that would be awesome. Any charities on the call, if there are any specific courses that you'd like that could assist, you can contact us and let us know. And then, yeah, corporate government support, always helpful. So this is our first course on donor centricity. And so hopefully we'll have 5 or 6 more of these up shortly. And it's pretty cool. I think I already started part of the course, but yeah, the way it works is...
so when we're talking about customers and insights, the main question we have is to discuss is, who is your customer? Your customers are all...
Sorry. So yeah, there's a welcome message from the facilitator.
So I've got an awful lot of experience having worked in...
So she's fantastic. Alison is a very skilled volunteer. She's ex-Citibank, and they are very, they're brilliant at getting customer insights and segmenting their data and visualizing their customer. She's sharing all of this with charity partners.
Great. That's brilliant. Yeah.
It's so cool. And they record...
So I hope that's not too overwhelming.
Yeah, they record some visuals and voiceover. And yeah, it's an exciting, fun project run on the smell of an oily rag, like a lot of things that we do sometimes here at Good Company, but yeah, fun.
Brilliant. Well, best wishes with that, and maybe Volunteering Victoria might be able to offer some support there to engaging or returning volunteers to the organisation. Perhaps we can do something with you there as well in the near future.
Brilliant. Would love that.
Folks, over to you. Anybody got any questions? Victor, Manish, Kirsten, Emma, Bush, Sylvia, Rory? It's now is a great chance to engage with Ash on anything that may be still a little bit outstanding, perhaps from the demonstration of Good Company, or where it's going. I think it's very exciting, Ash, and there's nothing like a bit of a refresh to get your existing customers excited about their engagement and where they can further dive into the platform. So that's really, really great.
Thank you. No, we're really excited. A lot of hard work's gone into it. Can we recognise these courses in the CPD?
Yes, good question, Sylvia. So Sylvia's just asked a question whether Volunteering Victoria can recognise these courses in the continuous professional development program that we run. And yeah, absolutely. I think that's a great idea. And something that we should be opening ourselves up to is, this sort of extracurricular learning. So Ash will take this further outside of this webinar to talk about how we can recognise people that do your courses as developing professional development points for our CPD program. Thank you, Sylvia. That's a wonderful idea.
Sylvia, you're winning that voucher at the moment. Hands down. Hands down.
Yes. Well, look, folks, this has been a pleasure. And so kudos to Ash and the team at Good Company for all the hard work. It is a stressful and tiring sort of process getting this sort of technology across the line. Can't leave any bugs in the system because it just can go a bit bonkers otherwise, can't it? So, yeah, test and test again, I think, is the old philosophy with these things here. So
absolutely. Great. Well, thank you all for investing your time this afternoon. And I think on the last slide, if you don't have it, my contact details are here. So it's ash@goodcompany.org. Here's my phone number if you'd like to spam me or something.
Anytime, day and night.
Anytime. One other final thing, another project we do, and we'll be doing again shortly is the best workplaces to give back.
Yes.
So that is at bestplacetogiveback.com.au. I might just put a few of these URLs into the feed so everyone's got them. And yeah, that is that's for charities on the call. If they want to see, you know, which corporates are donating, matching donating, or who's giving 5 days volunteer, 4 days, 3 days. It's a really good benchmark to see across a whole bunch of corporates where everyone's giving and how they give, and then you can target some of those companies.
It's a great initiative, isn't it? You know, that top 40, it seems to just get bigger and better every year.
Thank you.
Well, I love it. I think it's just such a great way of opening up the narrative about, you know, how do we make better workplaces, and recognizing the ones that are going above and beyond it. It's just fantastic. Yeah.
Thank you. Shall I put some of these in here? Best place. Is it best place to give back? I think so. Yeah. Giveback.com.au. GoodCompany.org is the other one. And GoodCompany. Really need to put all these on the one URL.
Yeah. So
yes.
That's just been to the panelists, Ash. So I'll just copy them and
put
that to all audience there. Oops, no, I can't do it. So nonetheless, if you can do that, that'd be great.
Oh, you can't. I can do that, and I can copy that to all panelists and attendees. Doesn't do copy paste.
No.
Okay.
That's new Zoom privacy stuff. Eh?
Okay. So no more questions, or anyone else want to share some of their things that they're doing? No. Beautiful.
Well, thank you again, Ash. It's been our pleasure. Next week we have Rostify with Shannon Gove. So that'll be another interesting session, as they're predominantly in the sport event volunteering space, but are obviously set back a little bit. So they've been developing some new technology as well for volunteer managers and for the volunteering sector. So looking forward to hearing about what they've got to present next Tuesday at 2 o'clock. Same time, same place. So thank you everybody for your engagement this afternoon, and Sylvia and Rory and everybody else that's been part of this afternoon's session.
Yeah, cool. And Hayley, did Sylvia?
Yes, Sylvia, you have qualified for a voucher.
So Sylvia, if you could just send us your email address, we'll send you a charity gift voucher.
Yep, we can help with that as well.
Beautiful. All right, guys. Thanks for your time.
All right. All the best, everybody. See you next week.
Thanks.
Thanks, Ash.
Thanks.